Iran launched a significant ballistic missile strike against Israel. Among the targets was Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba, along with residential areas in Beersheba, Ramat Gan, Holon, Tel Aviv, and Azor, reportedly involving 20 to 30 missiles depending on the source. One missile used submunition, cluster payloads, scattering dozens of smaller bomblets over an 8 km radius. The impact caused significant structural damage, fires, and more than 200 injuries. Although hospitals had preemptively sheltered critical patients underground, Tehran framed it as a strategic message, warning Israel not to target its nuclear infrastructure or leadership. Iran deployed several medium-range ballistic systems, Khaybar Shikan 1 for 50 km range, solid fuel, maneuverable warhead Qassem Basir, Nur 1, 400 km range, two-stage solid fuel, likely also used Rasejal and Ahmad, known for long-range and MIRV capability. These systems let Iran strike deep into Israeli territory while complicating interception efforts. Israel responded with retaliatory strikes on Iranian nuclear and military targets, including heavy water reactor sites. It also threatened to hold Iran's supreme leader responsible. Air defense. Israel's multi-layered systems, Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow 2/3, bolstered by U.S. Patriot/THAAD, intercepted the majority of missiles, reportedly over 90% success. Still, several warheads got through. The exchange is one of the most intense direct missile confrontations between Iran and Israel in history, with hundreds of projectiles launched, including both missiles and drones. European leaders, along with the UN, are urging de-escalation, and the U.S. is deliberating its role. President Trump has offered Iran a 2-week window for negotiations. Analysts emphasize that while Iran's strike demonstrates capability, limitations in stockpile size and delivery systems may constrain future barrages. Iran's attack marks a serious escalation in direct exchange of ballistic missiles with Israel, signaling its growing confidence in long-range strikeability. But Israel's layered air defense remains robust. The international community is now scrambling to prevent this from spiraling into a wider regional war. Donald Trump set a 2-week deadline to decide whether the U.S. will join Israel's war with Iran, allowing time to seek a negotiated end to the conflict, the White House has said. The decision to leave a window for diplomacy came after Israel's defense minister openly embraced regime change in Tehran as a war aim. Israel Katz said on that Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei can no longer be allowed to exist after Soroka Hospital in southern Israel was hit during an Iranian missile attack. The Israeli defense minister said that Khamenei openly declares that he wants Israel destroyed. He personally gives the order to fire on hospitals. Such a man can no longer be allowed to exist. Israel has routinely attacked hospitals in Gaza, claiming they are used as bases by Hamas. Foreign ministers from the UK, France, and Germany are set to meet their Iranian counterpart Abbas Araqi in Geneva on Friday, aiming to create a pathway back to diplomacy over its nuclear program. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy, speaking after a meeting with his US counterpart Marco Rubio on Thursday, said there was a 2-week window to prevent a regional escalation that would benefit no one. At least 22 Palestinians have been killed after Israeli forces opened fire on aid seekers near the Netzarim axis in central Gaza, Al Jazeera reported early on Friday, citing a source at Al-Adha Hospital in Deir al-Balah. On Thursday, Israeli attacks on Gaza killed at least 72 people, including 21 who had gathered near food distribution sites set up by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF. The dead included women and children, according to Al Jazeera reporter Anas al-Sharif, who posted footage of the bodies of children scattered in the street after an Israeli attack on tents housing displaced Palestinians near Gaza City. Israel carried out strikes on Iran's Arak heavy water reactor, its latest attack on Iran's sprawling nuclear program. Iranian state television said there was no radiation danger whatsoever, and that the facility had been evacuated before the attack. Israel also targeted the Natanz site, which has been hit several times. A week of Israeli strikes on Iran have killed at least 657 people and wounded 2,037 others, a human rights group said. The Washington-based group Human Rights Activists said of those dead, it identified 263 civilians and 164 security force personnel being killed. Iran has not given regular death tolls during the conflict and has minimized casualties in the past. Its last update on Monday, it put the death toll at 224 people and 1,277 wounded. At least 240 people were wounded by Iranian missile strikes on Israel on Thursday morning, the AP reported. The outlet said that 4 individuals has been seriously wounded, citing Israel's health ministry. Iran on Thursday accused the UN's nuclear watchdog of acting as a partner in what it described as Israel's war of aggression. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, accused Iran in a report prior to the start of the Iran-Israel war of non-compliance with its obligations in its nuclear program. Iraq's top Shia cleric Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani warned against targeting Iran's leadership and said that the Iran-Israel war could plunge the whole region into chaos. Sistani said in a statement on Thursday that any targeting of Iran's supreme religious and political leadership would have dire consequences on the region.